Hey everyone, JCS StarCraft here, bringing you Game 1 of a best of 3 series for the ESL Pro Series League between NarutO and DemusliM. Action getting started here on Esl Naga Caverns, with NarutO spawning in the top right corner as the purple Terran, and DemusliM spawning in the bottom left corner as the red Terran. DemusliM, of course, is a player from the UK. However, kind of in an interesting controversy, I guess. He did qualify for the ESL Pro Series. The ESL Pro Series is a German league, as far as I know, but DemusliM currently residing in Germany, so able to play in this league. ESL Pro was a very, very active, I think, Warcraft Pro Series, and I'm pretty sure Brood War was in there as well. And this recent season, season 17, is the first season that StarCraft 2 was allowed, so a lot of cash prizes for the winners. I'm not entirely sure how the format works. Right now there are 16 players that qualified for the Pro Series, and it looks like they're going to be playing in a series of round robins, probably moving on to some sort of tournament to determine the winner of everything. So pretty interesting to see the play from the beginning. NarutO, it looks like they are from the same clan, the Mortal Teamwork clan, but whether or not that's the case, because in the pre-match log files, so on their website, if you check it out, they kind of talk about their opponent beforehand, and I don't think they've actually played each other very much. NarutO is a very highly ranked StarCraft 2 player. On Gosu Gamer, he's ranked something I think like 19, and on SC2 Inside, a lot of different ranking systems right now. He's ranked in the top 30. DemusliM, of course, ranked very highly all the way across the board. On SC2 ranks, he's currently number 5 in the entire world, and a very, very strong Terran player. Now, this is game 1 of the best of 5 series, best of 3 series, I'm sorry, and they haven't played each other before, so I think they're both going to be going with the very standard opening on both sides. They don't know what the other player's preferences are or play is. So we saw a standard 12 racks, 13 refinery going down for both players. Should be pretty interesting to see if they shift strategies or if one or the other takes a very different one. Tech Lab now going down for NarutO, and some early scouting going down on both sides. DemusliM did get in there with looks like 2 SCVs to ward off another one and rejoin up with his former one. NarutO now scouting out around the map, making sure that his opponent isn't doing anything especially tricky. So Tech Lab's going down for the both of them. DemusliM going to be pumping out a Reaper. Looks like it's going to be a late Reaper scout. Meanwhile, NarutO a little bit supply blocked at the moment, trying to get his Marauder out, but waiting for that supply depot to finish. And let's see if normally mass Reapers generally does not work against Terran. I have not seen a lot of mass Reaper play early game against Terran, so should be interesting. DemusliM, it looks like there was some sort of lag going on with some player alternating between his hotkeys to keep that APM up. Just looking at the APM right now, 255 for NarutO and 177 for DemusliM, trying to keep their fingers active as they go into battle. And it looks like NarutO going to be going with a 1 racks fast expand against his opponent. I think after he's scouted it out, it doesn't feel like his opponent is going anything really tricky. Right now, DemusliM doesn't have a lot of buildings down, is getting that second gas, and does have enough to throw down the factory, but maybe just kind of waiting things out. Finally throws down that second factory a little bit late, and going to be getting another racks right now. Looking at his scouting, he will be able to scout in here with his Reaper. Does see the fast expand go down, is going to be able to take out that SCV. So this this Reaper going to die pretty quickly to the Marauder fire. And unfortunately, this command center is going to be delayed for NarutO. NarutO also revealed that he is going 1 racks FE, so I think DemusliM now going to feel a little bit more comfortable countering that strategy. NarutO throwing down 3 more racks to try to supplement his fast expansion right here, which is very typical of the 1 racks FE. You get the single barracks, and then you get your command center, and then you throw down just as many barracks as you feel comfortable with, usually at least 2 or possibly 3 right now. And it looks like NarutO is going to be going for an all bio build and just trying to pump out his units and hold down his expansion so that he can gain that economic advantage. Looking back at DemusliM's base, he is going to tech up as well as get that second rack so that he can defend against any sort of early bio push from NarutO if NarutO decides to do so. NarutO with the transfer and already has his expansion up, so going to be pulling ahead of DemusliM right now. But looks like DemusliM will be swapping it for a reactor, so probably going to be seeing a lot of medevacs coming out of there as well. Is he going to be getting a tech lab for the factory, getting the tanks to counter what I think he suspects is a very heavy bio army from his opponent right now? And things kind of lulling a little bit here on the map. Both players, of course, this is the establishing match in games. And I think in most establishing matches, you want to play a little bit more standard and safe, because you still don't really know what your opponent's strengths are. You know, are they great at macro? Are they great at micro? What kind of strategies do they prefer? Do they prefer all bio units? Do they prefer any of which sort of things? Which is why I really like watching best of 3 series or best of 5 series, because you get a lot more strategy going into the game rather than a single game where you might be caught off guard with some sort of crazy cheese. Right now, NarutO going to be testing the front of DemusliM. No one in this bunker too, but NarutO might see that and just kind of run away. No, taking free shots at it. Meanwhile, it looks like DemusliM's going to be sending out 2 separate rogue units to kind of do some damage. He knows that this expansion was here. Going to be dropping off a few Marauders and a Marine. NarutO with some really great reaction time is able to run away in time. Not that SCV though, because of the concussive shells. And it looks like he had to run his forces back up. Great move by DemusliM to pull that pressure away from the front of his base, which he didn't really have that well defended. Looks like he salvaged that bunker as well. And going to be doing a 2-pronged attack right here. NarutO trying to get down some sort of defenses and luckily catches this medevac before it's able to get into the base. DemusliM now dropping down one of the Marauders on top so that he can see on the high ground, and also using the medevac to gain that site as well. Meanwhile, it looks like this medevac is forced to retreat. NarutO going to be throwing down another missile turret to defend his expansion. Hasn't really had the opportunity to saturate this expansion just yet. DemusliM not gonna be able to take that out before he has to retreat up into the air. NarutO right now with the mostly Marauder armory, 13 Marauders and 12 Marines on the ground. Meanwhile, it looks like DemusliM is going to be establishing his expansion and has a pretty decent diverse set of army right here. Marines, Marauders, Medics, and Tanks. The triple MT combination for him. And should be able to, I think, because he's teched up in that matter. Now NarutO now going to kind of go with the standard build as well. Getting the Viking out, doesn't want those medevacs dropping down in his base. Gonna take a sip of water because my throat is getting... And DemusliM dropping down again, trying to test that water, hoping that maybe the forces had retreated at that point, but NarutO still going to be there. Doesn't want to lose any of his SCVs at this point in time. Looking at the production tab right now, +1 going down and combat shield for NarutO, who's definitely committing to this all bio army. DemusliM meanwhile happily kind of keeping the pressure away from the front so that he can macro away and try to catch up to his opponent and try to kind of even out the macro, the economic advantage that NarutO tried to establish early on in the game. So looking at the army tab, both players very even, 89 over 90. I'd actually have to give it to DemusliM right now, who has 2 tanks on the ground, and if this force isn't careful, if they walk into that tank fire, especially without medevacs, they're probably going to stim run in where they stim before they charge in, and will probably be able to take out the tanks. There are a lot of Marauders on the ground. If they focus fire, those tanks were really only going to get off just 1 or 2 blasts. I think NarutO right now just going to be waiting for that combat shield to finish and pushing on time attack. Combat shield is finished and +1 just about to finish as well. Going to be scouting with this Viking, trying to take out the medevacs if he can. And Marines now stim running ahead. NarutO going to be spreading out his units as well. This is really good micro play from him. Doesn't want that tank fire to get absorbed by the splash damage to get absorbed instantly by all his units as well. So might be waiting for, let's see if DemusliM knows. He doesn't know that it's there. NarutO kind of has a suspicion, and running out that single Marine does see that there are a whole bunch of forces knocking on his front door. Going to be reestablishing his tanks here, which is great because he has this chasm that the Marauders can't run into, so they're going to have to run around it at some point. NarutO throwing down the scan, and looks like the attack is going to be forced to attack. Tank fire going to be dropped down on the MN. Oh, he also waited for the medevacs to come in. Looks like he does have enough forces to push ahead and able to wipe out the army of DemusliM, just so many marauders right there. DemusliM right now just kind of waiting until he has enough mass enough units to counter this force, setting up his tank onto the ramp and trying to repair. Wow, just trying to repair the command center. Doesn't want it to go down, needs to hold on to it, so otherwise he would be really down in that economy. So tank right now, not even siege, doesn't want to spend the time to siege it, just going to take shots, and a second tank coming in, so the reinforcements are coming in for DemusliM. He should be able to reinforce this attack by NarutO. NarutO right now looks like he's going to have to retreat, and DemusliM going to push in. Looking at the army tab, DemusliM not just slightly ahead, but it looks like another command center going down from NarutO. Just going to throw down the command center first and get rid of the rocks later. So small army now pushing in for DemusliM. Looking at the unit composition right now, it's 5 marauders, 1 tank, and 12 marines versus it looks like yeah, it looks like NarutO really just has a much better economy, but does not have as many units out onto the field. So this army tab isn't necessarily indicative. And because while it looks like he's going to be doing some sort of drop from behind, DemusliM did catch that, running in with this marine, sprinting ahead with this stim. Wants to be one of those 400-meter runners and is able to get ahead. Right now, NarutO just throwing down as many racks as he can, trying to supplement everything. And here comes the drop from the back onto DemusliM's base. Will it be enough at this point? Everything's just kind of dropping down, and not that many units here. DemusliM having to retreat for the moment to take care of this this small army, able to take out one of the reactors, but I think everything about to go down for NarutO, and this isn't good for him because he didn't have that many units to begin with. So kind of, yeah, caught off there. Wasn't able to do much damage at all. DemusliM has more than enough supply depots down on the ground, and right now NarutO going to be waiting for that retaliation. 122 over 91. Looks like DemusliM is heavily favored at this point. Has that tank behind and just a ton more units and medevacs out onto the field. This is going to be a very difficult push for NarutO to stop. Just trying to produce as much as he can at this point. Also getting that armory as well. Looks like he might be going Thor's, and the tank is sieged down. DemusliM going to be establishing himself at the front of the base, and well, I think NarutO might have been trying to push in, but wasn't sure where his opponent was at the point, but this is not going to be good. There are Vikings in the air to take out the medevacs, but they're going to fall way too quickly to the stimmed marines on the ground. DemusliM does not have any upgrades. NarutO does have +1, so that might give him a slight advantage, although getting rid of this tank is going to be very, very difficult. And it looks like more tanks and reinforcements on the way for DemusliM. DemusliM looks like he's going to be taking this one right now. NarutO just does not have enough to enforce, and actually doesn't have any tanks of his own. So NarutO trying to wait until he has more units. Everything being pumped out right now for him, and just not able to get in on that. And the tanks are seized very well at this point. So a GG from NarutO. A great solid play from DemusliM, establishing and getting a 1-0 lead in this series. This has been JCS StarCraft, and I am signing off.